Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, the show that is not for entertainment purposes only. And today, of course, you know who I am, most of you. There probably will be some new people on here on this video, but I've been here on YouTube for 15 years, and most of what I've done during that 15 years was investigate things that happen in our world, you might say. Looks like Shannon, my co-host, has showed up just in perfect time. There she is, right as I would normally be introducing her. So I'm just doing a little brief introduction, Shannon, and that is that we're going to be looking at some logical things, okay, about this event that just took place. We're not going to be making any claims because, well, a lot of YouTube channels are getting pinched here in the last 4 or 5 days. We're going to try to avoid getting pinched, if you know what I'm talking about. So what we are going to do, though, is I'm going to pose some questions, and y'all guys are going to have the answers, okay? And but we're going to jump straight into that. We're not going to waste any time. But first off, I do want to introduce my co-host, Shannon. She's been here with me for the duration of 102 live shows, and I greatly appreciate her making herself available to be here. Our advisor, Dan, is not available to be here today, but he will be back very soon, I'm sure. So, Dan, if you're out there listening, we love you and look forward to having you here. I apologize real quick to those that watch the show regularly, and that is that I wanted to go live Sunday, but I couldn't. My internet was down. I didn't have I didn't have the bread to pay for the internet. But luckily, y'all guys got that squared away for me. And then I had a couple other incidents where the car broke down and all wah. So with all that being said, I apologize for not getting on this sooner, but the whole time I've been working on it and investigating. And hello to Susan Donahue, which is the hero for the week. If you know what I was talking about, you know what I was talking about. Thank you, Susan. So let's say hi to Shannon real quick. Shannon, what in the supernatural is going on with you today?
Well, I've just been researching my little patootie off here with everything because I just happened to catch everything right as it had gone down by grace of God. And yeah.
Well, we do have the ability here on this platform to go what's called beyond the veil, and that is where we discontinue certain streams and leave certain streams up. Like we can discontinue Facebook, YouTube, the 2 YouTube channels that this is live on right now, which is Logic Before Authority and the Supernatural Show. So we have the ability to speak completely openly. We'll see if we end up needing that towards the end of the conversation here, but we're gonna try not to make any conspiracy claims. But what we are going to do is point out some things. Shannon, do you mind if I get right to it? All right, let's do that. All right. Now, I'm going to pose a question. Now, understand that I'm a trained EMT when I was in the military. There's one place on the human body that a flesh wound will bleed the worst. Does anybody in the comments know where that is? The human body, a flesh wound. Obviously, if you cut your artery or something, that's going to bleed worse. But when it comes to a flesh wound on your body, wherever on your body, there's a place on your body that bleeds the worst, or a area on your body. Okay. Let's see. We got the ear. We got the head or the face. Where'd it go? It's getting away from me here. There we go. The head or the face. We got the ear, the nose, the head, nose and ear, appendages. We've got the head. We got it in the nose. And You're correct. Okay, the head overall will bleed profusely when there's a flesh wound if you do not have pressure on it. Now, we happen to be looking at a photo here, and I'm going to magnify some more. Now, we can all see this. And I'm gonna back this up further, so don't get your pants in a wad. I'm gonna back this up further. Sorry, my screen loves to trip out because I'm on my backup computer still right now. Come on, computer, let's don't do this today. So you're looking at an ear that has been grazed by a bullet, okay? And you see what looks like something red running down it, and there's some streaks across the face where maybe it's been wiped right here once. But again, if you do not put pressure on this wound, it will be bleeding profusely, meaning there'd be blood on the collar, there'd be blood on his hand where he reached up and touched his ear, there'd be blood in other places that you just can't avoid when there's blood pouring for something such as an ear. Okay, so we have this photo of the ear itself, which all I really see, it looks like just a little bit of splatter of blood and just running down here a little bit. But is there anything else that will show us what we're talking about here? Let's look through a few photos here. If we look at his right hand, which is the hand in which was used in order to wipe or to touch the bloody ear, and anyone who gets any kind of injury, the first thing you will do, and correct me if I'm wrong, the first thing you will do is put your hand on that injury and cover it, which means, and you ain't going to do it just one tap like that. You're going to put the hand back there because, well, one, it hurts. Two, your hand has the ability to relieve pain. Three, it's just instinct to put your hand back there. But we have a completely white sleeve and blood-free hand. And yes, that is the right hand, as you can see here. I'm going to let you think what you think about that. Now, let's look here. Let's look at the collar. This is a wound to the head that would bleed profusely. Do we see any sign of blood on the shirt anywhere? Why is it not bleeding profusely right now? Why is there not? I mean, yes, I know when they were down there on the ground doing whatever they were doing on the ground, you know, might have been checking his makeup and stuff, you know, and they maybe wiped a little bit of whatever was on there. They wiped it off. Watch what I say. But yet we have no profuse bleeding from a gunshot being shown on a white collar or a white shirt. Why not? Why wouldn't they have went ahead and, got it on some things? Maybe it was a little bit of a rush job, you might say. Here's another photo of the hand and of the white shirt. Where is the blood? Anybody want to tell me where the blood's at? Why it's not bleeding? I'm going to look at the comments, and I want somebody to logically tell me why it's not there. This person says, you can all read.
Well, just so you are aware, there are a lot of Hollywood actors who are actually in the ABC type factions in our government. So, I mean, Hollywood.
You telling me that there's people that work in the television industry that also are in politics?
Well,
Give
the
me one example.
like the CIA, the FBI, all that stuff. The whole Jason Bourne.
You mean like Cooper? What's the guy's name? Cooper?
That one possibly, yeah. But I mean, some more well-known ones. They've made a lot of films depicting that they're in it too.
Has has Trump ever done any acting?
Oh, he sure has. Didn't he have a reality show when he was on the WWF, or it may have been WWE at that time?
It was WWE. And you remember how they use, everybody knows WWE is staged
Has
wrestling,
it?
and they also get cut and bleed, and or at least it appears to be blood. And they also, it's known that they have a little thing they have on their hand that's a little nicker that they can nick their forehead with. And
Yeah.
of course, the forehead profusely bleeds because it's on the head, and they like to show the blood, but it's a small little cut, so it'll heal back real easily. But it adds to the show, right? It
Mhm.
adds to the show. So I'm still looking at the comments. I want somebody to tell me, yeah, there's somebody that got a good idea going.
Mhm.
And yep, Jim, yep, that's exactly right. Wow. Um, let's look here. Yep, there's another one there. Is what true? If you ask the question, I'll give you the answer. Uh, this person said it's on his face. Yes, it's on his face, but why ain't it on his white collar? Why ain't it on his sleeves? Why isn't it on his hand? You know, why isn't it there? Why isn't it there? Did he take a bath before he got up when he was only on the ground for about 30 seconds? You know? Uh,
You just have to say this. I know you're probably going to bring it up, but this is the first thing, like, as I was watching this, that I thought is you look at the audience directly behind him and you just know those are a bunch of actors because not one is truly freaking out. There's no chaos. No one's actually shielding the children that are in there. They're
uh-huh.
just odd. Look at
if,
the audience.
if that situation would have happened in front of most people, they would have been on their face in between the bleachers and chairs. Everybody would have been on their face. There's
People in
there's
public places that you hear anything that could sound like a bang bang noise, people
mm,
are freaking out, even if it isn't it.
yeah,
So
you know. I was going to read this person says, and I guess they're an EMT or doctor or something, got history in bleeding or treating people that are bleeding, like I have. Says cartilage does not bleed as much. He put his hand on it and looked at his right hand as he was going down. Yeah, he looked at his right hand. I've seen that, and yeah, he put his hand on it, and cartilage doesn't bleed at all, actually. But all of the area around the ear, the skin, and all that bleeds profusely. If you don't believe me, go in the bathroom and get you a little something other and nick your ear, and you're going to find out because the blood flow in the head is the highest amount of blood flow of any part of the body when it comes to surface area, not uh, not like compared to an artery, obviously, but uh, everybody has the right to have their own opinion. This show is to show people that have the ability to critically think maybe a different possibility. So I hope you hang around, Night Token. So Night Token, are you token? Are you okay? Well, you got a clear mind, so you good. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got in the comments. I got a bunch more stuff to show you guys. Yeah, seeing a lot of comments that feel a certain way. Yeah.
I did want to mention, because there was a comment in there mentioning about, and yet someone truly did die or is
That's what I hear.
just remember, I know I brought this up before, but what does MAGA mean in, the occult? It is a high priest. This is still a ritual. It's a ritual type of event used to manipulate you and spellbind you into some kind of way of thinking. So yes, blood ended up being shed in this type of thing.
Right. And then you also have the question of why the snipers were sitting on the roof, aimed at the man that was on the other roof, literally watching him, sitting there looking at him for over 2 minutes while he's crawling around up there on the roof with his gun. And nothing was done until it was called to be done. Now, these things are extremely complicated. I'm not going to tell you I know exactly what went down there. What I'm doing is I'm going to show you that there are things that make you go, you know. Here's another clean sleeve, you know. It's just very improbable. He's walking with no pressure. They wiped his face, but they never put pressure on the ear to stop it from bleeding. So there would be blood everywhere. And I have actual footage of him walking and getting in his vehicle, and they're not putting pressure on his ear. Why, when you got shot like that, why would they not at least be covering the wound so that there's no infectious anything that could get into it? We're talking about one of the most protected people on the planet. He would have his own ear holder, somebody there to do this kind of thing. But of course, not everybody's going to be able to see this, and realize what we're talking about here. You can see you got the same blood spatter right there on the edge, the same little trickle here going down the ear. I don't know. It's up to y'all guys to think what you want to think. Now, we can also go back in time to 1995, and I'm not going to waste too much time on this because I was actually recalculating, and it was 9 or 10 years ago when I said this would take place. Of course, you're looking at the image of Trump or Thump. Went and said it. And it says, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. Okay. And it says about the card and its power, and I'll explain where this card comes from in a second for people that have never seen it. It says, play this card on your own turn before drawing any plots. You may remove all zap, paralysis, or attribute freeze cards. It means it removes any resistance to your goal. You may remove all zap, paralysis, or attribute freeze cards that are affecting your power structure. Okay? So it's saying this frees you up when you pull this card. Okay? Now, what this card is it is a copy of a card or an image of a card from the Illuminati playing card game. This right here, as a matter of fact. This is the, let me go full screen for a second. This is the card game right here. Of course, it's upside down, but you can see that it says, illuminate, New World Order, that kind of stuff. And yeah, Steve Jackson's was the people who put that game out. And it was put out in 1995. And there are about 30 cards in there, at least 30, if not 50, that have been depicted in the game, and they came absolutely true, including what happened in 2001. In that September day, it shows them coming down. It shows the Pentagon getting blown up. It shows goes all the way back to 1996 when the people were going into the post office. There's a card for that. It says going postal. And, it is what it is. And I and Casey from Enter the Stars 9, 10 years ago were shouting this from the top of the building because we knew at that time that Thump was going to be running and we knew what was going to go down. Now, this is just because, unfortunately, my channel has been terminated once or twice since then. I lost all the video content. But this is one from a year ago when I predicted that this was going to happen. It says, enough is enough, which is, I was referring to this card, enough is enough. Enough is enough, the pre-planned event that will spill blood in America. And it's about when they do this again, because this was a test run to see how the people were reacting to get certain benefits from it. They'll be going again. That video is on my channel, on the Logic Before Authority channel. You can take a look at it. Now this, most of you have seen this. Most of you have seen this. This is available. You can pull up. I'll put the link in the comments, just in case you haven't seen this. I know most of you have. I know most of you have seen it. Wow, tons of comments today. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys. Yeah, Steve Jackson saw the script, Susan. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The game is called. Most people call it the Illuminati card playing game. Technically, it's called Steve Jackson Games, New World Order, One with Everything, Factory Set. But it's the Illuminati card playing game. All you got to do is Google it, click on the images, and start looking, and you can see a lot of the cards. You'll see a lot of the events. Even when Trump was in office before, when they were pulling down statues with ropes and stuff, they called it Smash the State. That was the card's name. And that's in there too. It shows them pulling down statues with ropes. It's all, put it this way, the world is a stage. And yes, there are real world implications to this stage act that goes on. People die, people get hurt, people disappear, all kind of things. But the world is still a stage. Okay. So now let's bring this back up again, and that is that in this commercial, which was put out by BlackRock, BlackRock happens to be the most powerful financial organization in the world, and they put out a commercial promoting teachers investing in BlackRock and saying that we handle y'all guys' retirement funds and we invest it and do great things with your money. And they happen to hire this gentleman to be in the video right here, as you can see. And this is the guy in question, the bang bang guy. This is him here. And the interesting thing too is that this video, if I remember correctly, was recorded in in Pittsburgh, and I believe it was at the local high school as well. They're very near to where this whole event happened, and this guy happens to be in a BlackRock commercial. BlackRock they've got power, real power. And it's about too much of a coincidence of this being the case, of this guy being in here. But it is there, and we all see it. I'm letting it play a little bit here, and then I'm going to stop it again in a second because he shows up again right there. Assuming that will load. Yeah. So there he is again. For me, that's a big red flag. It doesn't prove anything, but it's a big red flag that he's involved with these people somehow, some way. I suspect maybe Manchurian candidate.
Well, as you mentioned that, I would also like to mention a big red flag.
Okay.
Parents, both of them are behavioral, like mental behavioral medical counselors. And in
Right.
my experience out here at the Loma Linda Behavioral Medical Center, there's a lot of interconnections and a lot of experimentation on kids and people through those programs. So Manchurian candidate is definitely not off the table at all. And if I guarantee you the family has ties in with BlackRock,
Mhm.
especially being in that field.
Right.
And of course, it's the same MO of the three named, assassin code, as I'd like to call it, um, where he was presented with the full three names in his name. But he also got the gun, they say, or the bang bang, excuse me, um, through his parent, through his father, which has been a very big, seems to be a very common thread in a lot of these false flag FF things that you'd like to
Yeah.
call.
Code
Like,
language.
oh, I'm so terrible at this, guys. I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, and we're going to take a look at that guy's name a little closer in a minute. I got some things to show you about his name and how they tie to Trump's name, and a few other things about that. We're going to look at that here in a minute. And of course, there's the videos out there of him being on the roof beforehand. They're saying he's got a gun, and they're pointing him out to the cops, but still nothing happens. They let it roll. They let it roll. So there were obviously, it looks like there might have been possibly some natural audience there, but it's hard to say because they've gotten so good. It reminds me of the incident that happened up in Boston during the marathon, and they remember the guy in the wheelchair. They come rolling out, and his legs have been blown off, and he was still sitting up conscious, looking around, riding in the wheelchair with his legs blown off. You will not stay conscious longer than 3-4 seconds with your legs blown off. And the first thing an EMT is going to do is put you on your back, elevate those legs, and tourniquet the stumps. And what they do, they put him in a wheelchair and went rolling along down the street. You remember that, Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
I could show that picture, but it appears gruesome. But what it is, it was a vet that had lost his legs and in the military, and for however reason, they got him to do that particular role in that event. And I remember that clear as day. So I'm not going to waste your time showing the stuff on the roof. I just wanted to have it there. But what I am going to waste your time with for a moment, anyways, is let me take a look at this. Let's see if I can find the spot in one of these videos that I want. And this is basically it.
Watch what steak does to your gut. The carnivore diet. Why do people lose weight so rapidly?
Okay. So now, you see the way that guy's pointing his pow, right? Now let me pull up something else here. Let's see, where is it at? Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, okay? You see where Mr. T is right here. Let me blow this up a little bigger. Here's Mr. T. And here's you guys right here on the little roof behind him. And they're pointing out to the right. Directly in front of them, and I can pull up Google Earth because I've already looked at it. Directly in front of them is the pow guy, okay? They're watching him. They know he's there. Why was the waiting going on? It's obvious. Now, here's the thing. here's my theory on that. I think that they did all this on purpose. They want to get caught red-handed. They want people to know something went wrong, somebody rigged something, but they do want you to believe that Thump got thumped. They've been revealing everything lately, making it obvious, leading you to it. They even told you 2-3 weeks ago. They said, everybody talking about Thump and Thump. It was all in the news. I even did a video saying, here it comes, here it comes. And I've been saying for 9-10 years, here it comes. And I said, they're telling you they're getting ready to do it. Remember that, Shannon?
Mm-hmm. And we even
We said it was coming. They told it. They want the people that don't have the IQ level or discernment level or the mind to be able to handle it. They want them to know this was done by somebody. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to come up and they're going to basically point out and make it obvious that the Democrats were behind it. Now, the truth is that isn't the truth. They're all behind it. That's my opinion. But they're going to make it look like the Democrats did it. They've turned on Mr. B, right? They've propped him up for all this time. Then in the last 30 days, they've turned on him, even 2 weeks maybe. Now this. And there are people already saying, Alex Jones is already saying that the Democrats are behind it. He's already leading the crowd in that direction, you see. So they want people to realize that something went wrong here, but they want to blame it on the left so that way everybody runs to the right, and it just causes a complete landfall for Mr. T on getting reelected. Everybody's betting on him to save America, but what's going to happen when he gets in is not going to be good, unfortunately.
There is an even bigger plot twist that has just come out today.
Well, tell me about it, but be careful with the words.
Well, according to mainstream media, they had found some kind of receiver device that the three named perp had been using, and they're of course saying the big I ran place is involved in that.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, I did hear that too as well. Yeah.
So this is opening up more doors to conflict in this direction, which we didn't already have enough, right? But
yeah, they're gonna muddy the crap out of the waters. But I think they will likely end up pinning it on the left, and then somehow maybe even say they had some tie-in with Russia or whoever, maybe Iran, something like that. They're going to do it. Can you remember the name of the place that they were at when this happened, Shannon? Or anybody remember in the comments the name of it? Farm City or something? Illinois. Or not Illinois. What was the city? Why am I drawing a blank?
And I know it's in Pennsylvania, right? But I'm not sure.
Was it Philadelphia?
No, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
Pennsylvania. Well, Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania. Let me see if this is the
place. It's done. Click Continue to Installation, then click Add to continue.
No, I ain't doing that.
Butler. I think it was Butler.
Yeah, it was Butler.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gamma says Butler. Yeah, it was Farm City or something like that, Butler. But you can look at the angles and all that, and you can tell that the Bang Bang guys on the roof that were protecting Thump were looking directly at this guy and had their scope on him the whole time. There's no way they couldn't see him. It was when I was in the military, I was trained to be able to shoot somebody in the head at 300 yards. And we used these pop-up targets that would pop up for about 2 seconds and then they'd go back down. And I never missed. You know, I'm not saying I'm not bragging. I'm saying I'm the average dude with not a lot of training, just what I got in basic training. And I was popping them in the head at 300 yards with a 223. Okay, military M16. And this was a third of that distance. It would have been like, I mean, I know I never missed one that close. I mean, it would have been easy for anybody. And why go for the ear or the head? I don't know. Maybe it was just, you know, that was in the plan, of course. But it would have been a body shot would have been easier, you know, or neck upper torso area here shot, that kind of thing. None of it really makes sense. But I got some more things I want to show you. You can check this out if you want to. It's got a lot of predictive information in it. It's called The Terrible Simpsons Predictions for 2024, but I'm not going to play it. This is their fundraiser they've got going because, you know, money makes the pain go away. And where they're collecting money that probably those people will never see. It says it's for the victims, but $5.2 million, 5.218. Now it's at 5.241. And their goal was $1 million, but they're already at 5.25. You know, every single time one of these events happen, oops, not that picture. Yeah, don't really want to show that one too much. Probably wouldn't be good. So let's see here. Let me close this down here. I've got several other things for us to take a look at here. I want to make you aware of this fist pump thing that they do. It comes from the Egyptians, the worshiping of Ra. Remember when they were protesting in the streets and they were getting down on their knees like this and doing this, Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
And when they were having the riot clashes and all that, and they would get down with the cops and go like that, you know. And
well, that was a big old thing that happened with the whole sports section that went all into the political realm and then just everywhere.
Yeah. And here's a strange thing. This guy, you ever heard of the term incel, Shannon?
Yes.
Okay. It's a term that means, I'll read it out of Wikipedia here. It means involuntarily celibate. And supposedly this guy identified as one of those people. And what's weird, not so weird about that, but what's so weird about it is that other bang bang people from other events, like this guy,
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys remember this dude, right?
Whose father was a Hollywood director.
Yeah, yeah. And he identified as an incel. And then this guy that did the Westgate Mall thing identified as an incel. And I could go through all these tabs up here, and it's all the same thing. These people identify as involuntarily celibate. And I don't know what that has to do with anything, to be honest with you. But it's just something as I was doing my research that I learned. All right, let's see here. I have another tab here that's got some more interesting things in it. Here we go. All right. And those of you, some of you, you're going to be lost now for sure. But in our world, in the way that the occult operates in this world, you know, the deep state, you'll recognize that word, deep state. The way they operate is they operate mathematically. They don't do anything without it being coded correctly. And I'm just going to show you a few anomalies. I'm not going to prove anything here. And my mic's acting up again. I'm not going to prove anything here, but it's some things that make you go, Let's see. Trying to see if I can get some audio a little bit. Let me see if I mute you if it stops. Hang on, Shannon. All right. Can you still hear me, Shannon? Shake your head. Okay. Did the squeaking stop? Are you're not? I turn your mic back on. Are you hearing any feedback?
I wasn't really hearing it to begin with. So.
Hear that? It's just on my side. Okay, so let me show you a little bit of what's called Gematria. It's something that the occult. What's another word for that group of individuals, Shannon?
I call them the Brotherhood.
The Jewish sect of it, anyways.
Oh, the Synagogue of Satan.
Anyway, yeah, but they code everything. To give you an example, give you several examples here. And some of them you're going to think are silly to start with, but just hang on with me, okay? There were a couple of things that Trump was heard saying after the bangs happened, okay? And we're going to take a look at a couple of those, and we're going to look at Trump's name tie to his VP candidate, and a few other just things that make you go, And I'm trying to get these pages to load. Let's go ahead and click on those. Get those to load. I've been setting this up for days. So if you look here, what this is you take every letter is assigned a number. And if you've got, like in this word here, TRUMP, it basically works like this. A is 1, 2 is B, 3 is C. Now, I didn't invent this system. And yes, we all know that numbers are letters, just like Roman numerals, okay? And just like the Bible's all coded with numbers, every word in there is coded with a number. Every letter is coded with a number. So if we look at just some of these matches for this Thumped, which is not what it says there, but you can see what it says. Just look at some of these. See, it equals like 150. See it right here? So let's look at this one. Now, Thump said, fight, fight, fight. That's what he said. And in order for this to match, you have 26 options for each letter. So you'd have to take 26 times 26 times 26 times 26 times 26 in order to figure out the odds of this matching. But it just happens to match. Just happens to match fight, 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 which Trump said. Okay. And it also matches something else called the white rabbit. And I'll explain here in a minute why I say that. In the WWE, here just a few years back, when Trump was there, they had this, when he was involved in the WWE, they had this thing where they were doing the follow the white rabbit. Okay, it's tied to Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. And so I find it interesting that this is tied to that, follow the white rabbit, right? So the white rabbit is tied to this event, follow the white rabbit. So now let's look at this one. Of course, this is another match for the same mathematical equation that would be in the billions to one. You couldn't hit the lottery this easy. Nobody could hit the lottery this easy. But another false flag is what it says. Now, let me get my shoes. Weird thing about that one is, he said that too, but it matches the best-selling book, the only book notated that his VP, J.D. Vance, wrote, the Hillbilly Elegy. So it just happens to match. Let me get my shoes. Wait a minute, excuse me. That one doesn't match that. What am I saying here? It matched something because I wouldn't have it up there if it didn't. Let me look right down here for a second. See what I'm seeing. See if I re-see. The perfect storm. Of course, Trump is the one that, Mr. T is the one that told us that this might be the calm before the storm. If you remember that a few years ago. I'm not sure on that one. I'll have to come back to that one. So let's keep going down here. So we got Hillbilly Elegy, Year of the Rabbit, and this is all tied to this guy, which his name's J.D. Vance, which is going to be supposedly the VP candidate. And he was born James David Vance, but for some reason supposedly changed his name to James Donald. So I thought I'd look at his names as well. James David Vance, which is what he goes by now. So now let's see here what I got. So if you, James David Vance matches what will be their campaign signs, which will say Trump Vance. You know, Trump Vance. Like last time it was Trumpets, like trumpets. Now it's Trump Vance. But it's good. It matches mathematically. See, it's 133. 133. So James David itself matches 88, which 88 is a match for Trump. You see? So his VP candidate happens to have the first two names of James David that matches his last name at a billions to one, at least millions to one match of 88. And of course, anybody that's been around on my channel for a long time knows that Trump is the 88 man. That's why he's going to serve 8 years as president. And he'll also be the last president of the United States. Trump had 88 campaign locations when he ran in 2017. He had 88 campaign locations. He spent $88 million of his own money on his campaign. That is what is said. You can go look it up. He had 88 generals that backed him up and said that he was going to be the best president ever. Okay. They said that Trump has had 88 felony accounts. 88 felony charges or convictions, one of the two. I'd have to go back and look. And the list just goes on and on and on. I can pull up a whole another thing. But the point this time is that the guy's name mathematically matches up with Trump, which is pretty strange. And then if we look at the James Donald Bowman, which was his original name before they changed it, okay, which is like 166,996. Now I remember what this is back here. The Hillbilly Elegy, 945. It's in Jewish or Hebrew Gematria. 945. And if I go back up here, matches 945. So let me get my shoes, match the name of the book the guy wrote. So now we're looking at the guy's original name. It matches Twin Towers. It also matches September the 11th. So his name is coded in with the Twin Towers. That's interesting. That might tie him in with Enough is Enough, if you know what I'm saying. If he's being coded like Trump is. And it also matches One World Order, which all that's coincidences. The main, when you're investigating something, you look at a lot of things. You have to think like they think. You have to look into dates, numbers, distances between dates. Look and see how they're mirroring this image back with Christ, or mirroring it with maybe Caesar, or mirroring it with other people that have been thumped in the head before in the past as presidents. Seems to be a favorite location, doesn't it, in the head? Like old Abe, and then JFK, and then now this one. But this one, I don't believe is done at all. I think they will be coming back for round 2, is what they will be doing. I also had some stuff in my phone here, some photos I might want to share. Let me see here. Of course, you guys know about the guy that came out on 4chan that was claiming that he was the Secret Service officer. I don't believe that anybody would come out that's in that kind of a position and state their own name and say, I was the Secret Service officer and I did, and they wouldn't let me pull the trigger. They would kill him for that. So I don't believe that. I ran across this. Show you here real quick as soon as it will load. This was just a random poll that I ran across on YouTube, and it was an instant poll that was ongoing. And it says, with the presidential and vice presidential candidates finalized, who do you think will win the U.S. elections? And this was just a Times Now world, kind of vague as to who they're tied with, left or right. And 86% of people are saying Thump. And over these other candidates, including Kennedy and Shannon or whatever her name is. And what it tells me is they've basically about accomplished their goal of polarizing everything to the right. They want everybody to have all their hopes in this bag, because this bag is got a cliff that it's sitting on. And we're going to see that cliff unfold here very soon in the coming days. Let me show you. I think I will show this real quick. This is the Boston bombing thing that I mentioned. And this was the guy that had his legs blown off, as you can see. Or at least that's what was shown to have happened. But he's fully conscious, riding along in his wheelchair with no legs. Both legs gone. That is impossible. But yet they pulled it off and made it look real, and most people believed it. Let's see if there were any other things in here. Y'all guys remember this. See, they've been kind of putting this in people's thoughts for a while. Y'all guys remember this? It was in Central Park. They said an artist put it in there. It says, of course, it's a tombstone, and it's got Thump's name on it, and it says, "Made America Hate Again." And so they've been putting those thoughts in people's minds for a long time now. And this is going to happen because what they wanted is people to say, well, I seen that coming. I knew they were going to do that. But how many of them out there could say that 9 years ago? 9 years ago. Now, here's something interesting. Oh, gosh. I forgot that I have this. Yep. Okay. Check this out. Come out the white rabbit. Of course, this is Thump at the White House with the white rabbit, right? Nothing too unusual about that. But check this one out, too. There's old Bushy with the white rabbit. They love them some white rabbit. And here's Saddam Hussein with the white rabbit. Oh, no, that's Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. And, oh, look. We've also got Clinton with the white rabbit. And you say, well, that's just Easter. Listen, if you ain't figured out yet, they don't do nothing for nothing. Okay? There's a reason for all of it. Oh, I heard somebody say that, where's Biden at with the White Rabbit? Well, there's Biden with the White Rabbit as well.
Now you know that the White Rabbit is considered a trigger phrase and something used in the trauma-based mind control efforts. Is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So,
and here the White Rabbit is also tied to the Q movement. You see, and the person or the people who were putting up those stuff on 4chan about Q and all that, and Mr. T and the White Rabbit thing kept coming up over and over. You know, let's see here. Let's see what else I got for us here.
Too, I don't know if you have any pictures of the Snoop Dogg music video that came out in 2017.
Where,
where
they depicted
the clown and
Snoop thumping Thump.
Right, which is interesting because Snoop and him have been good friends for a long time. And there's this thing, where they roast people, which is really just a public ritual humiliation, right? But it's a big deal, and all their friends come out and they talk smack on him in a supposed joking fashion. Well, Thump had his own, and Snoop Dogg was asked to come and roast him because they're good friends. Several years before he ran for president, and they talked about him. Yeah, and they mentioned him, in jest about being the president or something along those lines in that roast. And I'm just like,
Yeah. I knew. And here's, if you don't think the White Rabbit thing is a thing, here's Ivanka Trump's. Let me zoom it in. This is on Amazon. Okay. I took this image right off of Amazon. It's Ivanka Trump's collection with the White Rabbit. So you can buy the White Rabbit. You see, there's something going on there. And I've done a lot of looking and stuff into all this, but I put all that content in. It's on another computer, which I don't have access to at the moment. But there's something definitely to the whole White Rabbit thing. And here's another picture from WWE with the whole White Rabbit thing. There, of course, you got the X, all that built into there too as well. I don't know, The purpose of this video was to make y'all guys think for yourself. I can't tell you what really went down there. I can just tell you what didn't go down there. There was not honesty in what went down there. And what I mean is that what was shown, there's a whole lot more to it, and both sides are in on it. That's my opinion, is that both sides are in on it, and that you're being suckered. They're suckering the entire world. And it's not just happening here in the United States. It's happening worldwide. But you're being suckered. It's going on. And they're leading you off a cliff. They want you to put all your energy and all your effort Maximilian UNO. I know you can't be Chris. Is Daniel gatekeeping? That it was all planned to stay gatekeeping. I'm telling you to use your brain. That's what I'm telling you to do. Think for yourself, because you're being suckered. Because if you're questioning any of it and you don't vote, you're not really being suckered. But if you're still voting for these cousins, you got all cousins. This has been proved years ago. And one, you got the plantation runner that runs it for 4 years. Then they put another cousin that runs it for 4 years. Then another cousin runs it for 4 years. Got to realize what's going on, guys. That's all I can say. All right, let me take a look at the comments, see what's going on there. And just to make it clear, this is going to happen again. That's my prediction. Except when it happens next time, it's going to be much worse. And it's not just going to just involve Thump, I don't think. It's going to be more complicated than that, you might say. I can't say I got a crystal ball to see the future. I can just see, because I do this for a living, and I've been doing it for 15 years. Not a very good living, but I've done it, and I've been doing it for 15 years. So I'm just saying there's more to come. What you were shown is a stage show, okay? Everything was controlled. Everything was meant to go down. Say, well, I heard the gunshots. You weren't there. You heard it on a television. Well, I seen the blood. Are you sure you seen blood? Well, I nothing. We weren't there. We don't know. But I know that these guys pull these kinds of things over and over and over. And I told you for 9 years this one was going to happen. Now I'm telling you, they still ain't done. They're still not done, because there's going to come a point where they're going to yank all your hope is in this bowl. All your eggs are in one basket. And they're going to go and smash all your hopes. Thunder. Thank you, Father. That's what I'm warning you of. All right, let's see here. Let me look at the comments a little bit more. Yep. I appreciate all y'all guys' comments. What do I think about who? And the more says, what do I think about him? Who is him? Is the question. Post to him is Bradley. And I'll give you an opinion on that. Well, might not have an opinion depending on who it is. Looking through the comments still. Appreciate my brother Chris being here, or Max. He was on the show last week. I hope you're doing well, my brother. I've been having cars breaking down and all kind of stuff again. But I'm okay, and we're back live again. Yeah, you got to be real careful what you say. I mean, it's dangerous to even talk about this subject right now.
The important thing to just on all of these things is just to be vigilant. Don't let any of this kind of stuff affect your emotional standpoint. Think of this logically and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And recognize that these things that we've pointed out over this time has a purpose. And what is that purpose? It's to manipulate you, the people you love, and the people in our country, in our world, to create certain things to happen. And the less that we give into that, and the more people who don't follow along into that spellbinding process, you're not going to be surprised when bad things happen. You'll be protected by God the more you pray about it. It's to help you to see the signs of the times that we're in.
Yeah. You don't want to see, this is a rich man's game that's going on, that they're playing. They've played it for thousands, hundreds for sure, probably thousands, where they know how the masses will react. Just like if you go out and you're a hunter and you study deer or elk, you're going to come to learn how that deer is going to react in different situations. Because, see, human beings are a herd animal. Okay, they like to stay around other human beings in general. Most human beings are like that, which is why we end up in the big cities and everybody running down the state, same lines, same roads, same sidewalks. We're like we're like an anthill almost. But they've studied this. They've had hundreds of years to study human behavior. What could you do with that knowledge if you had it? Could you get rich? Could you fool a bunch of people? And let me ask you this. Is it easier to fool a man, or is it easier to convince him he's been fooled? Is it easier to fool a man or convince a man he's been fooled? It's easier to fool him because he does not want to admit, his ego will not want to admit, I was wrong. All along I was in love with Thump. All along I was in love with Biden. All along I was in love with Obama. They were going to save us. They were going to make America great again. And that's what they want, is you invested like that. But you need to step back and recalculate. What are you doing here listening to me? Why are you questioning it at all? You shouldn't be here. You should be watching the rally or the RNC thing. The reason you're here is because you're questioning things. Just on YouTube alone, we're right at 300 people live in the room. On Facebook, we've got almost 500. And we've got 5 other platforms other than that we're live on right now. We're live all around the world trying to make people think and pull yourself out of her lies, her deception. You know, the whore that sits on the back of the beast that the Bible talks about? That's who's got you engaged. You're wandering after the beast and the whore. You need to snap out of it. Not a lot of time left. I've been telling you this for a decade. But now there's really not a lot of time left. You see what they're doing. Things are getting heavy duty. If you're invested in this, they're going to get you. If you're emotionally invested in any politician, they've got their hands around your throat, don't you know? They're squeezing tighter and tighter. And I'm a lone man out here, me and Shannon, begging you to stop doing this. Stop investing your time and your money and your love and your effort and your brain power into following after a bunch of freaking criminals. Just because they're rich, just because they're powerful, doesn't make what they're doing right. Because it's not right. All of the ones that are following them and got all sick feeling because they thought their savior got shot, you're going off the cliff. I'm warning you. I'm warning you. I'm warning you in the name of our Father in heaven and his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, you're going off the cliff.
You know, anytime you invest that kind of praise into any of these politicians or men, it's taking away from your worship and praise to Jesus.
Anything in this world you invest your love and your effort and your gut in and your soul in, you better be right. And on this one, all these guys, all of them, there ain't one sprayed in the crowd. You don't get up there without selling out all the way. All the way. Same thing goes for Hollywood. You might become a C actor, maybe a low B or something like that, but to get a real solid B or an A actor, you got to sign it over, buddy. Sign that soul over in blood. Give me some blood. Let's get some thumbprints. You got to do it.
Let's just take a second to realize the scope of how widespread this control and manipulation of people that's in your face on a daily basis. Not even just speaking Hollywood, not even just politics, but they go as far as to get all of these YouTubers, yes, here on this platform, the ones that are in your face and making a ton of money. I mean, it's one of the biggest reasons you should know we're legit, because we don't make hardly anything and they're not shoving our stuff in anybody's face.
Nope.
But those guys have been handpicked and selected as they were going through their journey on this platform, and taken to parties and put under the same bull stuff as all these A-list Hollywood actors. So they want to control even this type of platform that's supposed to be here for you, for the people, but they got these big time YouTubers under their contracts, under all the stuff that they've blackmailed them through to get into where they're at. So even in a space like this, it's all manipulated, and most of these people are under the gun to do what they're told because they have something on them. So
under threat of do it or else. Like some of these real masculine Hollywood guys, they make them wear a dress and kiss another man and do all this kind of stuff to demean them, you know, or they say, well, you got to do that, or we're going to have to need a little bigger sacrifice. Maybe your daughter might need to turn her in, you know, or your son, or maybe your mama's got to go. And that stuff actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or you want to stay powerful, we're going to have to renegotiate this deal that we've got with you. You're going to need to prove to us. You're going to need to do the ultimate proving. Sacrifice your son. And they do it. It's been done many times, many times. Deagle 2025. I hope most of you know what that Deagle, Deagle.com, the guy's username that he his comment here. It's not about his comment, it's about the name, Deagle. If you go on the Wayback Machine, just Google Wayback Machine and then put in the Deagle.com address and start looking around on there, it'll blow your mind. From the history about 5 years back, what they were predicting how many people were going to be left in the United States by 2025, which they pretty good then in getting rid of some people in the last couple of years, but they still got a ways to go. But the way they're going to get it done is with all those snake bites that they handed out for free. How many things in life are free? How many people have ever run up to you and said, I'm going to save you. Your house is being repoed. I'm going to save you. Or run up to you, don't step out there. There's a snake on the ground. I'm going to save you. And how many times has the government showed up to your house saying, I'm going to save you? They were going door to door offering them. They were going, man, it's everywhere. You can get them for free. When has anything been free? Is anybody thinking here? And it's too late already. But they're gonna come up with another one here soon. This time they're gonna want to get rid of the money, so they're gonna say, oh, it's spreading on the money. You know, like what I should have said last time if it was real. But now they're gonna say it's spreading on the money. We got to get rid of those dirty dollar bills. You know, all the strippers are all dead in the country, touching all those dirty bills, putting them in their mouth. They're all dead. We can't believe we lost all our strippers. They all died of CV. But the thing is none of them died. They're still counting their dollars. You know, it's true.
You got me with that one. I'm sorry. I gotta compose myself.
I can be a little comical when I choose to. But it's funny, but it's also the truth. I mean, I'll go in a gas station right now and wipe my hand across the counter and touch my face like that. Stick my finger in my mouth. Because I know no weapon wielded against me will prevail.
Still,
and if the enemy is invisible, really, it's something invisible floating around in the air and it's coming after us to get us, kill us all. You better go hide in the house because it can't walk in the door with you. When you open that door and that wind gust goes in when you go in, nah, And that little piece of cloth you put over your mouth, you're breathing through with your nose hanging out above it. See people still doing that now. Their nose hanging out and they're wearing their mask, wearing their bow on their face. They're veiling their face, and that's called the judgment mask, the death mask. And it's in the Illuminati playing cards that I talked about earlier. The death mask. Anytime they want to kill somebody, what do they do? They veil their face. They're going to put somebody in an electric chair, what do they do? They veil their face. Anytime they're going to shoot them at the stake, what do they do? They veil their face. What did they do with Christ when he was judged? They veiled his face. What did they do to the fallen angels when the fallen angels were judged? They veiled their face. Judgment mask. You're signing up when you put the mask on. Then when you take it back off, you still see the alternate version of the world. It never changes back because you believe the delusion. You believe the lie. I hope somebody's listening. I hope I've helped somebody today in some way or form. And Father, I ask that you protect this video and not allow anything to happen to it. I'm coming pretty close to my words. I've coded my words like Christ did back in the day and the prophets back in the day. They coded the words so that the enemy couldn't understand what they were talking about. And that's why I'm coding my words, Father, and you understand that. But I would ask that you protect this video and protect also all the people out there that are watching. Be there for them. I know you are already there. And guys, Father wants to hear from y'all guys every now and then. You need to say some prayers sometimes, not just go to him when there's a problem. Go to him when things are great. And then that way he'll be there when there's a problem. Works the same way it works with your own daddy and your mama. If you don't go see mom and daddy for 2 years, and then one day you show up, Daddy, I need a loan. What do you think daddy's going to say? You ain't been here in 2 years, son. I don't even know where you've been, what you've been doing. You've been avoiding us like the plague. How do you think it works in heaven? It's very similar. Don't forget to talk to your Father. He hears you. You know it down deep inside. When you do something wrong, you can feel him seeing you. He's watching you. Just like I did when I did the things I've done wrong. He's always watching. Well, Miss Shannon, I think I'm going to wrap her up here and get on out of here today. About an hour, 20 minutes in. So any final thoughts for our brothers and sisters that are listening to us here today and us trying to get across to them the truth about the matter? Any final thoughts, Shannon?
Well, like I mentioned before, just be vigilant, be in prayer. Don't allow the trauma-based mind control, spell binding to penetrate you. And if it's penetrated other people, pray for them. Don't get angry. Don't fight over it. Just continue to pray and to show and to guide them. Sow the seeds with love and, keep in prayer and vigilant. That's all I can say, because we're about to see some pretty mass chaos within the next couple months, guaranteed. It's just absolutely guaranteed. So just be ready. Be scared, not prepared. I love that saying. I know I've said it a lot, but
what'd you say? Be scared, not prepared?
Oh, be prepared, not scared. Did I dyslexically do? Be prepared, not scared. Thank you very much for correcting.
With that being said, we're going to send y'all guys out with a song today. And so when the song's over with, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Here's our little song from your co-host, my co-host, Shannon.
If you feel so alone, just know you are right at home, 'cause we are here to share, and all you have to bear Jesus brought us all here together. Everything is in his hands. Don't you worry, we're here for you. You're not alone. Welcome to the body and soul of Jesus Christ.
Bye-bye, guys. We love you. Father loves you too.